Alright, this is how you will make a triptych using Photoshop Elements and only one photograph. Now, the first thing we need to do is make sure that our layer is not locked. So over here on the Layers palette, you can see that there's a little thumbnail of the photograph, and over here it's not locked. If it is locked, what you do is you double click on the layer, and it will allow you to rename it. And by renaming it from background to something else, like ouch, because frankly this looks painful, that will unlock the layer for you. So there's no lock symbol over here like there normally is when it's just a photograph that you've opened. It's normally called background. The second thing we have to do is we have to add more space so we can cut the picture up and move it around wherever we want to. So what we do is we go to Image and Image Resize, and we choose not image size because that'll just make the picture bigger, but canvas size, which will give us more area to create. So right now my width is 3,504, and it's important for me to remember that because I'm going to divide this up into 3 parts later, and I want to do that equally. So I'm going to give myself about another 400 pixels. So I'll change that to 3,900 and 2,700 as opposed to what is originally there. I'm also going to keep this in the center. Now this is basically where it positions the existing photograph or image, and I'm going to keep it in the middle so there's space all the way around. I'm going to click OK, and it adds more space in. Now I'm going to go to my magnifying glass and click on Fit Screen so I can see everything that is now there. Now I have space to cut up my picture and place it wherever I want. Plus I can now add in a border and a background. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do, the third thing I'm going to do, because I've already done 2 things, is add another layer, and I'm going to put that down on the bottom, and that's where I'm eventually going to put my border. Okay, go to the marquee tool. There's 2, rectangular and circular, or elliptical, and I'm going to choose rectangular, and I'm going to draw a rectangle around this portion of the picture. Then I'm going to go to Select, and I'm going to transform the selection. This is where I can determine my width and my height, and because I want to just change the width, I'm going to uncheck Constrain Proportions, which means if I change the width, the height will change, or if I change the height, the width will change. And I'm going to type in 1,168 px for pixels, because I did the math in my head. 3,504 divided by 3 is 1,168. Actually, I did it earlier. And that makes my transforms my marquee into a 1,168 pixel wide marquee. I then go down here to this area and I check that. Let's see what happened here. Okay, so let's go 1,168. I must have accidentally hit a decimal place. You can't use those. And I will keep that. Now I want to make sure that I've selected the whole area. It looks like I did, but I might be missing a little bit over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom way in just to make sure. Wow, it's pretty good. It's right there. If it wasn't, actually I'll make sure the next time I will miss selecting Oliver, and I'll show you how to do that next time. So I'm zoomed back out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this portion and I'm going to cut it out and put it on another layer. So go over here. You can see how I'm clicked on layer 1. So if I go here to layer, new layer, and layer via cut, I'm going to get this message saying no pixels are selected. That means I'm on the wrong layer and there's nothing on that layer. So I'll click OK. I'll go to the ouch layer. I'll do exactly the same thing. So in order to cut this part out, I'm going to go to Layer, New Layer, and I'm going to layer via cut it onto a new layer. Now it looks exactly the same. It doesn't look like I've done anything to it. But if you look over here on the thumbnails, you can see there's her head and arms, and there's the rest of her body doing this back breaking bridge. Okay, so now I've got two layers. I'm going to rename this by double clicking on layer 2, and I'll just put head so I remember what's there. I'm going to go back to my ouch layer, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to drag, and I'll make sure I miss intentionally here. So I'm going to go and drag my marquee from my marquee tool. I'm going to go select transform selection, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to type in 1168. Alright, I'll accept that change. Now I've missed, I'm kind of off, way off, so what I do is I go back to select transform selection, and then I can move it this way. See how it just kind of snaps there? The other thing I can do is I can zoom way in. So I'm going to go to my zoom tool. Let me redo this. So I can go select transform selection. I'm going to zoom, oh, I got to zoom in first, my apologies. So I'm going to zoom way in so I can get real close. I'm going to go select transform selection, and I'm just going to use my arrow keys on the keyboard to move that over. So I'm just moving it, I'm not doing anything else, it's not resizing, and I'm going to get real close right up to the edge. Okay, I accept that by clicking the green check mark, and then I will zoom back out. So I can go to zoom out and see the minus sign there, and I zoom out again. Now then, I'm going to do the same thing, layer, new layer via cut. There is just her right leg, and there is her most of her left leg and part of her hair there. Okay, so I'm going to again rename that layer to legs, and I'll call this one middle because it's the middle of her body and the middle of the picture. This one I'm just going to call frame. It's a good idea to name your layers, as always, something that makes sense. Okay, now what I can do is I can go to my move tool. Here's my move tool there. I can click on the head layer, and again with my arrow keys I'm just going to move it over a bit, try and line it up. I can be exact or I can be approximate. So if I undo that, let's see here, oh, I went too far, rename it frame. So if I go to this layer here, to my move tool, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sure, why not? I'll go to the far right legs layer, click on that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there I've divided up the single picture into a triptych, and now it's just a matter of putting the frame in. So what I can do now is I have a little fun with this. You've got a couple different options. You can use simply a solid color. So maybe I want to do a really dark green. Sure, let's go with that. And I can take my paint bucket and I can click and make sure again you're on the frame layer. If I'm on the middle layer, and even if I just click on the green part here to change it, what will happen is it will cover up those areas. So see, if I hide these, I've actually filled that whole part in with green, and if that was on the top, I wouldn't be able to see it. Okay, so make sure you're on the bottom layer there for your frame. The other option is, of course, you can do a gradient. So there's the paint bucket. It just fills it with a solid color, whatever's in this front one. There's my gradient. So I can do click and drag across. You can go diagonal, up and down, it doesn't matter. I'll go straight across this time. What that'll do is it will add in a gradient. So you have a very colorful picture. I think I'm going to go with just the solid color. So let's go to the paint bucket, and I'm gonna have to undo that. Once you do a gradient, it's really hard to actually change the color because there's such a variety of color. I could click and click until I'm done, but it's just a lot easier to do undo and then redo with the paint bucket. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. So go to the frame layer and click and fill. Voila. Now, a couple other things you can do just for some special effects, have a little fun with it. You have this thing called layer styles and style settings. So what you can do is you can do a bevel. And basically what that does is it gives a bit of a three-dimensional look to it. So you can, you know, not have that typical look of flat green. Gives it a little 3D look to it. There's glow, which if you do inner glow, it will kind of add in some yellow hues to it, make it look like it's glowing. You can change the color if you want to. So if you wanted to use a lighter green glow, you could do that instead, just to add a little bit to it. And the outer glow won't work all that well because the outer glow goes outside the bevel and outside the screen, and there's nothing there. So we'll just do that. You can also do something on these layers. So if I go to this layer, I can do a layer style, maybe a drop shadow, and that it's a little hard to see because my background is pretty light, but it just puts a shadow, a dark shadow edge around there. Let's see if you can see how it kind of shifts that around. Right. So you can play around with the drop shadow as well, and a beveled edge to it so you can make it stand out a bit. I'm going to do that on all three layers. So I'll put a bevel on it so it stands out a bit, a drop shadow, move that up a bit. And the last one, the middle one. And that just makes it stand out a little bit from the frame that we've created. Doesn't have to be exact, but you can. You can remember these exact pixels, 29, 29, 75. Now if you want to go back and edit it, you can double click on this. And why not? Let's type in 29 and 29 so the drop shadow is all the same. And then there's the little FX button there that allows you to go back and edit it. So 29 and 29. And that would be it. Someone's knocking at the door.